I have lost everything, the car, house, everything.
Marcus Hale stood at the top floor of Hale Enterprises, gazing out the floor-to-ceiling window. The city pulsed with life below, cars buzzing, lights blinking, deals being made every second. But despite owning half the skyline, Marcus felt something empty gnawing at him. His marriage. Sasha had always been stunning. The kind of woman who made heads turn the moment she walked into a room. When Marcus met her 3 years ago, he was swept away. She said all the right things, smiled at all the right moments, and acted like she adored him. But lately something felt off. Her touch had cooled. Her kisses were quick. And she seemed far more interested in shopping trips than quiet nights with him. "I think she's with me for the money," Marcus said to his assistant Jonah, who stood nearby holding a folder. Jonah frowned. "Are you sure? Sasha's always been supportive." Marcus cut him off. "Supportive until I stopped buying her diamonds." Jonah stayed quiet. He knew better than to speak when Marcus was in this mood. Marcus turned from the window. "I need to know, Jonah. I need to see who she really is." Jonah raised a brow. "And how exactly are you going to do that?" Marcus leaned against his desk. "I'm going to fake it. I'm going to act like I lost everything. Every dollar, every share, every house. I want to see if she still wants me, or just the lifestyle." Jonah blinked. "That's extreme." Marcus smiled. "It's necessary." By the end of the week, Marcus had set everything in motion. Fake news articles were leaked about Hale Enterprises being under federal investigation. Stocks were frozen, accounts seized. He even had the front gate guards tell Sasha the private jet had been grounded. He knew Sasha wouldn't believe it all right away, but he was patient. At first, Sasha seemed concerned. "Baby, what's going on? I saw the news. Is everything okay?" she asked over breakfast one morning. Marcus sipped black coffee from a chipped mug, no more gold-trimmed china. "It's bad. We might lose the company. I already sold one of the vacation homes." Sasha's eyes widened. "Which one?" "The one in Miami." She pressed her lips tight. "That was my favorite." He nodded slowly. "I know." For the first few days, she acted supportive. She cooked a small dinner, rare for her, and even offered to cancel her spa appointments. But by the second week, the cracks started showing. "You're wearing that to dinner?" she asked one night, frowning at his plain t-shirt and jeans. "We can't exactly afford Armani right now," he said with a tired shrug. She rolled her eyes. "Well, we don't have to look homeless either." That night, Marcus noticed she was texting someone while hiding her phone beneath the covers. She was giggling. She never used to hide anything from him. That's when his heart dropped a little further. One evening, Sasha came home carrying shopping bags. "I thought we were cutting back," Marcus said, nodding at the Gucci logo on the bag. "Oh please," she laughed. "I used my own card. You're not the only one who makes money." "You mean the allowance I gave you?" he asked quietly. Her face changed. "Marcus, I'm tired of this game. If you've lost everything, maybe we need to take a break. You've been impossible lately." "Impossible," he echoed. "You're moody, and you're dragging me down with you." Marcus nodded slowly, expression unreadable. "Maybe you're right." The next day, Sasha packed a small suitcase. "I'll go stay at the condo for a while," she said, not even hugging him goodbye. She kissed him on the cheek, barely, and walked out the door like it meant nothing. Jonah stood nearby, arms crossed. "You ready to call this off?" Marcus stared at the door she had just closed. "Not yet. I want to see how far she'll go." Over the next few days, Jonah helped Marcus set up a full surveillance plan. They tracked Sasha's movements. She was meeting up with a man named Rick, a slick real estate agent she used to date before marrying Marcus. She laughed more with Rick than she had with Marcus in months. They met at restaurants, shopping plazas, even a rooftop lounge. Sasha looked completely unbothered. Like the life she shared with Marcus had already faded into a memory. "She's gone," Jonah said flatly. "She's made her choice." Marcus stared at the video footage without blinking. "She was never with me. She was with the money." One final piece of the plan remained. Marcus began preparing for a fake farewell dinner, where he would say goodbye to a few key friends, family members, and Sasha. It would be the perfect moment to show everyone who she really was. And after that, he'd walk away with his dignity and a heart no longer living in denial. The luxury penthouse dining room was set up just like Sasha liked it. Long table, silver cutlery, tall candles, and golden plates gleaming under a chandelier. But this time, Marcus had done it all for a different reason. Tonight wasn't about romance. It was about revelation. Jonah helped with every detail. The guest list was small, just a few close friends, some trusted business partners, and Sasha. Marcus made sure to send Sasha a formal invite, dressed up like it was a farewell dinner due to his company's downfall. She arrived fashionably late, in a red dress that shimmered like fire. She didn't look like someone grieving her husband's losses. She looked like someone shopping for a new life. "Wow," she said, stepping in. "Didn't know we were doing this big." Marcus smiled tightly. "One last dinner before everything's gone." Sasha shrugged and poured herself a glass of wine. "Well, might as well go out in style." The other guests trickled in. Laughter, fake sympathy, awkward small talk. It was all expected. Everyone had heard Marcus was broke, but none of them had seen him so calm. Some even whispered he looked relieved. After dessert, Marcus stood up. He clinked his glass gently. "Thanks, everyone, for coming tonight. I know things have looked bad lately, but I appreciate the support." Sasha smiled and nodded like she was the perfect wife. Marcus continued, "Before we end the night, I want to share something personal." Jonah quietly tapped a remote in his pocket. The big screen behind Marcus lit up. Sasha turned, confused. "What's this?" The video started playing. Footage of Sasha at the rooftop lounge, laughing with Rick. Footage of her handing him what looked like a gift. Footage of them kissing. The entire room went silent. Sasha's wine glass dropped to the floor, shattering. What is this?" she stammered. Marcus didn't blink. "It's who you really are." Some guests gasped. A few turned away, embarrassed for her. Sasha's voice rose. "You spied on me." "That's low, Marcus." "You lied to me," he replied coldly. "For years. And the moment you thought I lost my fortune, you ran into the arms of another man." Sasha's eyes flared. "You tricked me." "No," Marcus said. "I tested you. And you failed." The screen went black. Jonah stepped forward with a smirk. "Ladies and gentlemen, Hale Enterprises is fine. Very fine, in fact. The investigation was fake. The news was planted. Every asset is intact. This entire thing, it was a setup to expose a gold digger." Sasha gasped. "You played me." "You were never playing with love," Marcus said. "You were playing with a wallet." The guests slowly clapped, shocked but impressed. A few whispered among themselves about how bold the whole plan was. Others couldn't stop looking at Sasha, now standing there red-faced, dress shining under the spotlight of humiliation. Marcus looked her in the eye. "We're done. And don't worry, your credit cards have already been canceled." She tried to speak, but no words came. She turned and stormed out the door, heels clicking like gunshots. 2 weeks later, Marcus sat on a park bench with Jonah, the spring sun warming his face. "Feel lighter?" Jonah asked. Marcus nodded. "I feel free." "What now?" Jonah asked. Marcus smiled faintly. "Now, I live honestly. I find someone who loves me for me." Jonah raised an eyebrow. "You really think that kind of love still exists?" Marcus chuckled. "It does. You just have to dig past the gold." A month had passed since Marcus exposed Sasha at that unforgettable dinner. The media caught on quick. Gossip blogs had a field day. "Gold digger wife dumped by billionaire CEO in epic reveal" was the headline plastered everywhere. Sasha tried to deny everything, but the video was too clear, the truth too loud to silence. Marcus, however, didn't care for the noise. He was already living differently, simpler, quieter. He had stepped away from the boardroom and into the background of Hale Enterprises. Jonah now sat as acting CEO, while Marcus spent his days visiting small Hale branches and foundations under a new identity, Marcus Hale, security consultant. He traded his tailored suits for gray uniforms, his Lamborghini for a used Ford pickup, and the penthouse view for a modest apartment. The goal? See the world through the eyes of those who didn't know his last name meant billions. It was during one of those undercover days at a mid-sized Hale Tech branch in Atlanta that he met Tessa. Tessa was the receptionist. Sweet, grounded, and always smiling. She wasn't the type to wear flashy clothes or chase office gossip. She packed lunch every day and volunteered at a local shelter on weekends. What caught Marcus off guard was that she actually noticed people. Not their shoes or watches, but their eyes, their tone, their tiredness. "You look like you didn't sleep," she said to him on his second day. "Night shift." Marcus blinked, surprised. "Yeah. How'd you know?" Your shirt's wrinkled and you're blinking slow, she said, handing him a cup of coffee. Here, my treat. No one had ever handed Marcus Hale coffee before, not without a press release or PR team watching. But she did. No questions asked. Over the next few weeks, they talked often. About music, movies, even random things like would you rather live on Mars or underwater? They laughed. A lot. And Tessa never once asked about his background, money, or ambition. She only once said, "You seem like someone who's lived 2 lives." Marcus almost laughed. She wasn't wrong. One rainy afternoon, as they shared a lunch break in the staff room, Marcus asked, "What kind of guy would you never date?" She thought for a moment. The type that hides things, especially about who he really is. He paused. That one landed harder than he expected. "You ever been lied to?" he asked quietly. "Yeah," she said, looking out the window. "My ex pretended to love me, but he was using me to look good in front of his parents. Once I lost my job, he dropped me like I was trash." Marcus frowned. "I'm sorry." She shrugged. "It taught me to look at hearts, not status." That was the moment he knew Tessa was the opposite of Sasha. A week later, he invited her to dinner. Not a 5-star place, just a quiet corner bistro. Tessa wore a simple blue dress. He came in his security uniform. They talked for hours. At the end of the night, Marcus took a deep breath. "I haven't been fully honest with you," he said, nervously tapping the table. Tessa looked confused but calm. "Okay, I'm not really a security consultant," he said. "My name is Marcus Hale. I own this company. I use this disguise to find out who actually cares about me, not my name or my money." Tessa blinked, silent. He continued, "I've met a lot of people. Been lied to more times than I can count. But you've never once tried to take anything from me. Just gave, even when you had less." She still said nothing. He leaned forward. "If you want to walk away, I get it. But I had to tell you the truth now, because I think I'm falling for you." Tessa stared at him, wide-eyed. Then suddenly, she burst out laughing. Not mocking laughter. The kind that's surprised, full of relief. "You're serious?" she asked. He nodded. She shook her head in disbelief. "So you're that Marcus Hale?" "Guilty." "Dang," she said, leaning back. "And here I thought I was going to marry a broke man with good coffee taste." Marcus grinned. "Still an option." She leaned forward, smiling warmly. "You know what's funny? I liked you more before I knew you were rich." He chuckled. "That's exactly why I'm sitting here with you." 6 months later, Hale Enterprises held its annual gala. Marcus walked in hand with Tessa, now officially introduced as his fiancée. Sasha was there, clinging to another high society suitor. She froze when she saw them, especially when the crowd swarmed around Tessa, curious and admiring. But Marcus didn't even glance Sasha's way. He turned to Tessa and whispered, "You ready for the spotlight?" She squeezed his hand. "Only if you're beside me." Marcus smiled, because this time, he wasn't walking into the light alone.